Consideration provided by...
With Circle, your water is deliciously flavored at the turn of a dial with 0 sugar and 0 calories. And Circle has over 40 flavors, so your water can be as unique as you are. Try Circle, available now at Walmart.
Did you know most dish soaps don't remove all the grease, even with scrubbing?
What? I just cleaned those.
Try Dawn Platinum. It removes 99% of grease and food residue. That's why Dawn is trusted to save wildlife affected by oil. Dawn Platinum cleans to the squeak.
Tomorrow on ET, we're in Wyoming with Nick Carter, who's opening up about his brother Aaron's death for the first time.
I don't think we'll ever really get over it.
Make sure you check that out. And here's one more thing before we go.
Good night.
Good night, babe.
Happening now.
A San Antonio woman charged with manslaughter, accused of running down 2 women earlier this year, killing one of them. Today, she was expected to take a plea deal, but there was a lot of drama leading up to her sentencing.
ERCOT's supply and demand for energy getting critically close today. I'll have their forecast for tomorrow through the weekend coming right up, along with our next chance of rain.
Check your freezer. There are some frozen vegetables that are being recalled. Plus, it's time for those Labor Day sales to get started. What to buy now and what to wait on. The news at 5 starts right now. First at 5, after a record-breaking June and July, this August heat has finally taken its toll on the Texas energy grid. Need and usage of electricity outstripping what ERCOT has available. And now we're under the threat of power outages. Avery Everett live from City Hall, where we're now being advised it's time to prepare for the worst. Avery.
Both San Antonio and Bexar County officials say today is the day to care. They say they want the community members to conserve energy tonight ahead of the possibility of rolling blackouts. Now, ERCOT is urging all Texans to reduce their energy usage tonight. It's because of that extreme heat and continued near-record demand for energy. Now, what could happen tonight is still up in the air, but leaders from CPS Energy, SAWS, and the city all say they want to be proactive instead of reactive. The mayor says he's pushing for more communication with residents after the February 2021 freeze and power grid failure. People are being asked to conserve and be prepared in the case that the power does go out.
Know your medical needs. If you rely on electricity for medical needs, make certain a power outage plan for your medical devices or refrigerated medicines is trained for.
The city and the county do have cooling centers set up tonight. If you need a ride to one of those, you can call 311. Reporting live, I'm Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Avery, and I'm checking ERCOT's supply and demand, basically their dashboard and also their forecast. And you look off to the side of the screen. I'm going to try to enlarge it for you. And this is the concern later on this evening, especially as we lose our solar generation as the sun starts to set. But notice the demand is forecasted to be about 79,877 megawatts and the available capacity to be slightly less than that. And that's at 7:05 p.m. So that's what we're watching and we'll keep a close eye on. One of the issues as well is a lack of real gusty winds out there today across the state. You know, we get a good amount of our energy production from wind turbines, especially in West Texas and along the Gulf Coast here. Gulf Coast, very light wind, especially for this time of day, this time of year. We're talking 5 to 10 miles per hour. Usually it's a little bit higher than that because you get the sea breeze. Even West Texas, where we have a lot of turbines, not a whole lot of wind. It's at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures, of course, not helping. Dallas 106, Houston 105 with a high temperature of 109 today in Houston. So you have the 2 biggest cities in Texas really drawing on that grid. Even Austin, a high of 106 this afternoon. Locally, 95 in Eagle Pass, Floresville 103, Windcrest 99, and Mico at 101. We'll take a look at the ERCOT forecast for tomorrow and through the weekend and talk more about the elements contributing to the stress on the grid in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam, for clearing that up for us. New at 5, tense moments in a Bexar County courtroom today when a woman who pleaded guilty to killing a woman with her car changed her mind and tried to change her plea. Eric Hernandez with the woman's heartfelt plea to the judge for a real trial and the harsh reaction from the dead woman's family.
January 11th of this year was the last time Ashley Lopez was seen alive by her family. The 29-year-old was fatally struck by a vehicle after a large fight broke out on Angela Walk in South Picoso Street near downtown.
I'm not guilty, Your Honor.
Penny Gomez was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Today, she asked the judge to withdraw the plea deal she agreed to last week.
I didn't intentionally do it. I have witnesses as well, too. They were with me at the time. This is my life. I have kids. I have family that I need to go home to. I just want to have a chance to fight my case and show that my innocence.
Now, after Gomez gave that explanation to 437th District Court Judge Joel Perez, he still decided that he was going to go with the plea.
At that point in time, you had the opportunity to plead not guilty, and you did not.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Okay. As such, I'm denying your request to withdraw your plea.
Judge Perez followed the agreed plea deal and proceeded to sentence Gomez to 12 years in prison, a sentence Lopez's family wasn't satisfied with.
To me, you don't deserve to be released. I will be there in your parole hearings, making sure you don't get hurt. You don't hurt or do this to someone else.
I truly do hope that you suffer in life the way you made my sister Ashley suffer while you drug her body in front of her children.
Gomez will now be transferred to a Texas prison where she must serve half before she is eligible for parole. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Meantime, the sentence for a nail salon murder now in the hands of a jury. In court today, an expert testifying that when Kiet Nguyen shot his brother-in-law, what was his frame of mind? This video showing the moment that he opened fire outside of that salon, a salon he felt he owned with his in-law. The expert witness today saying that his anger over the business dispute took control of his actions. If the jury believes it was a crime of passion, Nguyen could get a lesser sentence of 2 to 20 years instead of a possible maximum sentence of life in prison. He pleaded guilty to the murder just as this trial was due to start. For a second day in a row, a security scare at the main entrance at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland yesterday. It was a man who was looking for help after being shot. This time, it was a suspicious package that was left outside of the gate. A base official says a civilian left that package at the gate just before 9 o'clock in the morning after being refused entrance inside. That official says the civilian made some comments that put them all on alert, so they closed the base at Luke Avenue East Gate and the West Gates. All of the traffic on Military Drive was redirected to the Selfridge Gate, while Bexar County Sheriff's deputies took the suspect into custody. We're being told that the suspect's vehicle was searched. Nothing was found. Traffic on Military Drive is back to normal, but the Luke East Gate and the West Gates are still closed until further notice. Former President Donald Trump running out of time to surrender in Atlanta, Georgia, where he is facing charges that he led an illegal conspiracy to overturn his 2020 presidential election loss. Sheriff's deputies expected to make history by taking the first ever mugshot of a former U.S. president. ABC's M. Wim reporting that prior to traveling to Atlanta, Trump has shaken up his legal team.
All eyes on Atlanta, Georgia, where former President Donald Trump is expected to surrender to authorities on felony charges.
This is crazy. It's sad, and I never thought I would see it in my life.
Ahead of his arrest at the Fulton County Jail, Trump shaking up his legal team, adding Steve Sadow, a well-known Atlanta criminal defense attorney who claims the former president should never have been indicted.
I think the question with Trump is always, is he going to listen to his good lawyers as the case proceeds? Because when you have reputable attorneys, they're going to give you good advice.
The 2024 GOP frontrunner telling conservative host Tucker Carlson he believes these charges are politically motivated. Trump's fourth criminal indictment stemming from his alleged efforts to overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election results.
I'm so high in the polls because it means the people get it. the people see it's a fraud.
Trump will be fingerprinted and for the first time have his mugshot taken before he's released on a $200,000 bond. District Attorney Fani Willis has given Trump and his remaining alleged co-conspirators until noon Eastern on Friday to turn themselves in. Nearly all have completed their bond agreements and a number have already been arrested and processed, including Rudy Giuliani, who's accused of conspiring with Trump to illegally reverse Joe Biden's 2020 win.
I'm being prosecuted for defending an American citizen who I do as a lawyer.
Today, Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, booked and processed after he had his request to avoid reporting to the jail by Friday denied. Willis has now subpoenaed at least 4 witnesses, including Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, to appear.
Trump's lawyers are pushing back on a trial start date of October 23rd. That date requested by the DA for all 19 defendants when one asked for a speedy trial. Emlyn, ABC News, Atlanta.
And before you put dinner on the table tonight, there is a recall you need to know about. Some frozen vegetables sold at Kroger being recalled because they could make you sick. Marilyn Moritz with your 12 on your side Consumer Roundup.
Don't eat these veggies, sold under the Kroger brand name. Twin City Foods is recalling some frozen super sweet corn and mixed vegetables because of possible listeria contamination. Take it back. All Best Buy dates are next year. More on our website. Sleeping on this mattress? The Consumer Product Safety Commission warns stop using certain classic brands Cool Gel memory foam mattresses. Check the tag. If it was made in Spain between January 2021 and last August, it's a fire risk. The company is out of business. Car shopping? Used car sales are revving up and new car sales have slowed compared to last year, according to a study by iSeeCars.com. In San Antonio, they say the used car selling the fastest is the Toyota Corolla. And for new cars, it's the Ford Bronco. And cue the Labor Day sales. Retail Me Not says the best deals will be on grills, appliances, furniture, and outdoor gear. But if you're shopping for tech, TV, or toys, they say wait for the holidays when the deals will be even better. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Tomorrow, it's the first of 4 games kicking off in the Alamo Dome in this year's KSAT Pigskin Classic. And then on Saturday, there's a triple header. Tickets still available. You can scan the QR code on the screen and see your ticket options, and all the games are inside the air conditioning, thankfully, in the Alamo Dome. Meantime, a tough time occurring at I-10 at Medical. What you're looking at right here is a pretty serious accident. If you look over toward the middle right of your screen, there is a white truck that somehow landed on top of another vehicle that appears to be either flipped over or on its side. This is obviously closing off 2 lanes of traffic. You can see there everybody's having to go around it. And of course, it's rush hour, so this is a real mess. So if you're going to the medical center via I-10, you need to take your time because traffic in both directions is moving at a crawl. Coming up, COVID-19 continuing to mutate. We've got proof of that and how the government may soon be stepping in again to stop the spread. We're going to tell you how next.
I'm Myra Arthur here in the newsroom, and here's what we're working on for the news at 6 o'clock today. The battle over those buoys. Supporters say it's a necessary step in stopping illegal immigration, but critics argue the buoys were installed in the Rio Grande without the proper permitting and violate international treaties. We have an update on the legal fight over those. Plus, longhorns in limbo. A Northwest Bexar County family says the city could make them get rid of their cows. Why the family says they're confused about the city's reasoning. And after that suspicious package reported today at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, we introduce you to the team responsible for taking on those explosive threats. We go front and center today at 6. We'll see you for these stories and more in less than an hour.
Thank you, Myra. Looking forward to it. COVID-19 making another round, and the Department of Health and Human Services is taking action. It is earmarking more than $1.4 billion to develop new COVID-19 vaccines and therapies. $1 billion is going to go to 4 companies who will lead clinical trials of new vaccines. $300 million will go to the drug maker Regeneron to test and develop a new monoclonal antibody that should protect people who don't respond well to vaccines. Other companies receiving smaller amounts to battle the virus itself. The funding part of a project, NextGen, a $5 billion government initiative. Meantime, something many of us already suspected, millions of people who tested negative for COVID-19 in the early days might have what's known as long COVID. Andy Gaither has a look at new research and tells us what authorities hope those who struggle with the prolonged symptoms of COVID can take away from it.
For those with long COVID, symptoms can linger for weeks, months, even years after first onset of the disease.
So this greatly impacts patients' quality of life as well as their cognitive function.
Dr. Igor Koralnik with Northwestern Medicine says at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, swab testing was limited and blood tests weren't as advanced. So he says many people had symptoms of the disease and developed long COVID, but couldn't be tested in time to get a positive test result or got a negative result despite having the disease.
We made the conscious decision to accept those patients who did not have a positive COVID diagnosis in our clinic.
In research published this week, Koralnik says blood was tested from 29 patients who were negative for COVID but showed long COVID symptoms. Researchers were looking for 2 proteins associated with the coronavirus that causes COVID-19, and they say 41% of those tested had evidence of exposure to that virus.
It is really vindicating for those patients to know that. Those patients deserve the same care as those who test positive for COVID-19, and they also deserve to be enrolled in research studies.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Taking a live look outside with live cam. We do have a few clouds out there, but they're not really going to help us with the situation we have going on right now with ERCOT. We need wind, don't we?
Well, we need wind. We've got good solar out there. We need wind. We just need to also reduce our power usage. You know, if you have an electric vehicle, don't plug it in until after 10 p.m. Don't use the oven. Don't use the washer. Don't use the dryer. Cook on the grill if you can. That helps quite a bit. And if possible, turn up the temperature in your house by a few degrees. All right, let's get right to the ERCOT supply and demand. This is straight from their website, okay? I'm going to zoom in again and show you what we're watching for later on this evening, and we're going to isolate it here to about a little after 7 o'clock. Notice 7:15, or I should say that's 8:15, but anyway, around 8 o'clock, we're expecting the forecast from ERCOT, the demand on the grid should be about 81,000 megawatts with an available capacity of 79,000. So we are expecting to exceed the actual capacity. The demand is going to be higher than the capacity. And the forecast from ERCOT for tomorrow is the same situation. I know we're all fixated on right now and this evening and up until 10 o'clock, but we also have to look ahead to tomorrow between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. when we're really going to be stressing that grid again. And it's going to be close on Saturday. Keep in mind, this forecast, it changes frequently. We'll have the latest every newscast for you as we get those updates. One issue, the wind, I talked about that before. Along the Gulf Coast, we have a lot of turbines. Not a whole lot of wind today, 5 to 10 miles per hour. West Texas, ton of turbines. If you've ever driven West Texas or the Panhandle, see them all over the place. A little bit of wind, but not as much as usual. Here's our forecast for the wind tomorrow across the state. And these are the steady winds, not the gusts. These are what help with moving those turbines. 3 o'clock, generally 5 to 15 miles per hour across the state. We get to 7 o'clock, which is when we really start to lose our solar input to our grid. And we're looking at 5 to 15 miles per hour. A little bit better than today, but still we're going to have that tax and that stress on our grid. High temperatures aren't going to help. Tomorrow, 103 here in town, Houston in the low 100s, Austin 106, Dallas 108. Whenever you get the biggest city centers with that intense heat, it stresses the grid even more. 78 in the morning here tomorrow, 95 at noon, 103 the high temperature in San Antonio, Uvalde 98, Kerrville 101, 103 Gonzales, Helotes 99, Converse you'll have a high temperature of 102. Tomorrow and Saturday, 103, even on into Sunday. But Friday and Saturday, that's actually going to be record high temperature territory. We are expecting to break records. And by Tuesday, we could drop back down into the upper 90s. By the way, isolated showers possible tomorrow. We're talking the brief afternoon pop-up variety. Here's our futurecast. Don't pay close attention to the exact location of these little downpours, just the mere fact that this computer model is also in line with our thinking that a few rogue showers could pop up tomorrow afternoon, agriculturally insignificant. Mainly between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., we have a 20% chance tomorrow. 10% chance into the weekend each afternoon. That's especially in the hill country. I think we'll be dry around San Antonio. Then Monday, Tuesday, waiting on a weak cold front that could bring us some isolated to widely separated showers. We'll keep you updated on that.
All right, we need to keep an eye on this situation. Meantime, we're keeping an eye off the football field.
Yeah, so Sam Williams, Cowboys defensive end, had another run-in with the law on Sunday, and it's not his first time that this has happened to him. So today, Mike McCarthy is talking about number 54. Plus, tonight, big game coverage kicks off, and we are excited coming up.
I think the biggest thing is, you know, in all these cases, you get all the information. I had a chance to visit with Sam right away, so he knows what he needs to do, and so we can all be better.
Mike McCarthy is having to answer questions again about Sam Williams' off-the-field issues in big board sports.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Cowboys defensive end Sam Williams was arrested Sunday in Frisco and arrested on charges of possession of a controlled substance and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Now, this is not his first brush with the law. Last December, he was involved in a two-car accident, which led to an arrest warrant. Here's Coach McCarthy on Sam's latest incident.
Well, I think anytime you make a mistake, it's a good wake-up call. Absolutely. So, you know, I believe in Sam Williams. Obviously did when we drafted him, and even more so now. So I've seen him grow in so many different ways. He needs to slow down, and he knows that. So that's the first step.
What about the other stuff that he had with him?
Well, I think the responsibility of that, and I'm not going to get into specifics of it because that's a legal situation, but. His story, and when we sat down and talked about it first thing Monday morning. So I'm comfortable with the direction that he's going. He needs to learn from this.
Jerry Jones told the media he doesn't anticipate Sunday's arrest will have an impact on Williams' availability for the upcoming season. The 2023 high school football season kicks off tonight, so big game coverage is coming to a stadium near you. The Sam Houston Hurricanes will start off their season tonight in some crispy white cleats thanks to the generosity of Brack great Ramon Richards, who recently gave every player on the Canes some new football kicks ahead of the brand new season. So here's the schedule for tonight. Churchill versus Stevens, 7 p.m. at the Gus. Austin Crockett will play Highlands, 8 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. YMLA and Sam Houston will kick off tonight at 7 at Alamo Stadium. Laredo United or Warren will play at Ferris Stadium at 7. Bernie Champion is on the road at Laredo United South at 7. McCollum will play at South Sam tonight at 7. Harlandale will face Veterans Memorial at Rutledge Stadium at 7 p.m. And New Braunfels will face Denton Ryan at 7 at Mary Hardin Baylor. Ursula, it's here.
Okay, so just to be clear,
yes,
we're going everywhere tonight.
We are, absolutely. We're all over the place.
All right. We're planning on it. Yep. Thank you, Larry. And we will be right back. Thanks so much for watching the news at 5. We are on the job on breaking news, and world news is next.